I would like to call this village board meeting of Thursday, June 3, 2021 to order. Will the clerk please take the roll?
President Coker,
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt,
Here.
Trustee Siddiqui,
Here.
Trustee Light,
Here.
Trustee Meritato,
Here.
Trustee Pojek,
Here.
Trustee Schroeder.
Here.
Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Governor of State of Illinois has declared a gubernatorial disaster proclamation in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, restricting individuals to gatherings of 50 persons or less, and all of the village of Glendale Heights is covered by the disaster area. In light of the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak, the village president of the Glendale Heights has determined that an in-person meeting for the June 3, 2021 village board and committee of the whole meeting is not practical or prudent in light of the disaster. All of the trustees of the village board participating in the June 3, 2021 village board meetings, wherever their physical location shall be verified and determined that they can hear one another and can hear all discussions and testimony during the meetings. Signed, Chaudhary M.A. Khokar, Village President of the Village of Glendale Heights, dated June 3, 2021. We now go on to B, petition and communication. Community announcement. Trustee Schmidt, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Village of Glendale Heights is now hiring for a number of seasonal positions at Glendale Lakes Golf Club, GH2O Aquatic Center, Public Works, and the Parks, Recreation, and Facilities Department. Positions range from laborers, lifeguards, youth program counselors, and many others. Gain valuable experience and make friends that will last a lifetime working for the Village of Glendale Heights. For more information, please visit www.glendaleheights.org or contact Human Resources at 630-909-5357. Thank you.
Trustee Light, please.
Do we skip one? Or are we going right to me?
Trustee Siddiqui, Mayor, would be next.
Trustee Siddiqui.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. The Village of Glendale Heights is proud to present a new electronic recycling program available for all Glendale Heights residents who have regular waste pickup through Republic Services. On the second regularly scheduled collection day of each month, Republic Services will collect electronic recyclables. In order to have an item collected, you will need to contact Republic Services at least 24 hours in advance. Your electronic items should be kept separate from other waste for curbside pickup. For a complete list of acceptable items, please visit www.glendaleheights.org or contact Republic Services at 847-981-0091. Parking in front of mailboxes. The Village of Glendale Heights would like to ask residents to please be respectful of your neighbors' mailboxes when parking on village streets. Oftentimes, the United States Postal Service will not properly deliver mail if there is a vehicle parked in front of the mailbox. So to ensure that everyone receives their mail, please do your neighborly duty and not park in front of mailboxes. If you have any questions, please contact the police department's non-emergency number at 260-6070. Thank you.
You're welcome. Trustee Light, please.
Thank you. The next coffee and chat with the mayor and village board will be Saturday, June 5th, at the Center for Senior Citizens from 10 a.m. to noon. If you're unable to attend and have any comments, suggestions, or questions for the mayor or village board, please call the mayor's office anytime at 630-909-5303. Amita Health Glen Oaks is partnering with the Village of Glendale Heights to host a free medical clinic on Saturday, June 19th, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The clinic will be held at the Sports Hub and is open to families and children in need of medical care but are unable to afford the cost. Physicians from Amita Health, specializing in primary care, pediatrics, physical therapy, and more, will be available. This event will also have resources for those in the community needing food, housing, transportation, and more. To register, please visit the village website at www.glendaleheights.org. That's going to be a great event.
Clerk Smith, please.
Thank you. Get your 2021-2022 Village Vehicle Sticker today. The new vehicle sticker must be displayed by 12:01 a.m. July 1st, 2021 on the lower right-hand corner of the windshield. Passenger vehicle stickers are $15, motorcycle tags are $12, recreational vehicle stickers are $18, and trucks with B plates are $25. There is an additional price schedule for trucks based on their individual weights. Qualifying senior citizens receive one sticker per household at no charge. Village ordinance restricts overnight parking on village streets to those vehicles having a valid vehicle sticker. For more information regarding village vehicle stickers, call 630-260-6000. Thank you.
Welcome. Trustee Maritato, please.
All right, thank you. Summer's here and we're ready for fun. Sign up today for PATH Summer Camp. PATH Summer Camp gives children a safe and fun environment with engaging activities. This year's theme is All-Star and will allow campers to explore a variety of sports-related activities, projects, and more. All COVID-19 guidelines are outlined by the Illinois Department of Public Health will be followed to ensure a healthy and a fun camp. For more information or to register, visit www.ghprf.com or call 630-260-6060. The GH2O Aquatic Center is open for the season. In order to provide a fun and safe environment for all swimmers, the GH2O Aquatic Center will be divided into two zones and will feature 2-hour time slots. Each section will accommodate up to 100 patrons, and advanced registration is required to serve your time slot. The GH2O Aquatic Center also offers a swim lesson for all ages, lifeguard training, dolphin swim team, and more. For more information, go to reserve your time slot. Contact the Sports Hub at 630-260-6060 or visit www.ghprf.com. Thank you.
You're welcome. Trustee Pojek, please.
Thank you. Flag Day is celebrated on Monday, June 14th in honor of the red, white, and blue. The following tips are proudly displaying our U.S. flag are recommended by the National Flag Day Foundation. Hoist the flag briskly and lower it ceremoniously. If you display the flag overnight, illuminate it. No other flag or pennant should be placed above or at the same level to the right of the U.S. flag. Don't allow the flag to touch anything beneath it, including the ground, water, or the floor. When your flag fades or wears thin, Typically, after 1 year, replace it with a new one. Remember to dispose of worn flags in the village flag depository, woo-hoo, located at the circular island in front of the village hall. For proper military disposal, for information concerning the flag disposal program, contact me, Village Trustee Chester Pojak, at 630-909-5310. Thank you.
You're welcome. Trustee Schroeder, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Registration begins Monday, June the 7th, for a fundraiser benefiting the Center for Senior Citizens in partnership with Texas Roadhouse in Bloomingdale. Now, this fundraiser luncheon will be held on Wednesday, June the 30th, beginning at noon, and it will feature a wide variety of barbecue options from Texas Roadhouse. The cost is only $15.50 per person, and 10% of all food costs will be donated back to the Center for Senior Citizens. If you have any questions or you would like to register, please contact the Center for Senior Citizens at 630-260-6050. I would like to also add that this restaurant will be closed to all other residents. It will only be open for Glendale Heights. So we will be there all by ourselves, and we want as many residents to come as possible because you're going to have a really good time. The other thing I want to tell you is to be sure to grab your dancing shoes for the Sound of Summer Music series. The music will be provided by Double D Cruisin' Music and will feature 6 nights of a variety of music from classic rock to salsa. The Sound of Summer Music series will be held at Cameron Park Gazebo from 6:30 to 9 p.m. on June 17th, June 24th, July 1st, July the 8th, July 22nd, and July 29th. For more information, please visit www.ghari.com. Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome. I would now like to make an appointment of Youth Commission members on the list before you for a 2-year term. If there are no objections, a motion to approve the appointment of Youth Commission members would be in order.
Motion.
Wait, I'm sorry. See, I didn't hear you.
I'm going to appoint Youth Commission for 2 years term.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
So if there is no objection, a motion to approve the appointment of Youth Commission members would be in order. Yes. Motion. Trustee Schmidt,
I
first.
move that we appoint the Youth Commission members as presented.
Second.
Mr. Michael Light, trustees.
Second.
Second. Discussion.
None.
None. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Trustee Light?
Absolutely.
Trustee Meritato?
Yes.
Trustee Pojek?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder.
Yes.
Youth Commission members are appointed for a 2-year term. We now go on to public discussion of agenda items. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address this board on an agenda items?
Good evening, President Kokar. I'm Christopher Epstein, Club Drive, Glendale Heights, and to the board as well. A couple things I want to bring up. Are we going to continue with the gubernatorial disaster proclamation since we will be going to Phase 5 effective a week from Friday? So will that relieve this of having that any longer? That would be one question that I do have. A question from Mr. Pojak. Mr. Pojak, can a citizen properly dispose of an American flag?
Can a citizen?
Yes.
There's nothing, no objection to that.
Okay, and how would they do it properly?
Well, first of all, you mount it on your side of your building. You can have a pole attached, inserted in your ground next to your, property.
No, I'm asking how they would, properly, get rid of,
Goes off.
You have a
destroy.
box outside in the front at the turnaround, and you throw the torn and tattered flag in there, and it's gonna be
But the thing is, I'm asking, can a citizen do it without
it's
putting?
open, it's open.
I understand that, but I'm asking,
I'm not following you, sir.
can a citizen actually take care of the flag themselves properly? And how would they do that?
Take it to the VFW then.
No, I'm saying personally, the citizen, not the VFW, not the box.
The legal way to do it, throw it in a box, and it properly will be disposed of.
Can a citizen burn the flag?
When the VFW gets all the flags, they take them to Yorkville, and they properly burn them and bury the ashes properly.
But a citizen could do that as well, correct?
I imagine so.
I'm asking you, you're the expert on the flag and proper disposal of it. I'm just asking that for a citizen's, information as well. The next thing that I want to bring up, I'm not going to mention any names, but there is one member of the board that does not have a current village sticker. So I'm just bringing it up. I hope they all get it for the next year, since I'm aware of that. At least one does not have a village sticker on their vehicle. The last item that I would like to bring up in the consent agenda is number 5, a resolution appointing executive staff, village attorney, and village engineer for the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois. I think this should not be lumped as one. I think we should be disclosing who the village attorney is or their firm, the village engineer or who their firm is, and as well as every member of the executive staff and who they are. And that it should not be done ad hoc, just as one big resolution. I think everybody should be disclosed on there who is being appointed for those positions. So that's what I have for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will continue with the consent agenda. You have the consent agenda before you. Mike Maron, will you please read the consent agenda?
Certainly, Mayor. Number 1, approval of the regular board meeting minutes of May 20th, 2021. Number 2, approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of May 20, 2021. Number 3, approval of the accounts payable listing of June 3rd, 2021 in the amount of $1,398,995. Number 4, an ordinance amending and restating the designated depositories for funds of the Village of Glendale Heights and to designate certain named municipal officials to act as signatories with respect to bank depositories and other banking transactions, and repealing Village of Glendale Heights Ordinance 2015-74. This would be ordinance number 2021-47. Number 5, a resolution appointing executive staff, village attorney, and village engineer for the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois. This is resolution 2021-R-56. Number 6, a resolution creating the Village of Glendale Heights Transfer of Real Estate Inspections Program Ad Hoc Committee. This is resolution 2021-R-57. Number 7, a motion to approve pay request number 2, final, to Schroeder & Schroeder Incorporated for the 2020 sidewalk removal and replacement program in the total amount not to exceed $1,617. This has been approved by the attorney. Number 8, a motion to approve pay request number 3 to K5 Construction Corporation for the 2020 CDBG Gregory Avenue and Somerset Drive reconstruction project in the total amount not to exceed $11,320.23. This has been attorney approved, and that is the consent agenda.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Mr. Light?
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Smith. There is no old business. Consent agenda is approved. There is no old business.
You need a roll call vote.
Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Trustee Light,
Yes.
Trustee Meritato,
Yes.
Trustee Pojek,
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt.
Yes.
The consent agenda is approved. There is no old business, so we will move on to new business. New business, number one, there is a request to waive first reading on new business items 2 through 4. Is there a motion to waive first reading? Who's first, Mr. Light?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Schroeder, Mary Schroeder, trustee second. Discussion. So there is no discussion. First reading is waived on new business item number 2.
Take a vote.
We need to have a vote.
All in favor.
Or discussion, or roll call? Roll call, vote please.
Trustee Siddiqui,
Yes.
Trustee Light,
Yes.
Trustee Meritato,
Yes.
Trustee Pojek,
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt.
Yes.
First reading is waived on new business item number 2 through 4. Number 2, an ordinance authorizing the Village of Glendale Heights, DuPage County, Illinois, to borrow funds from the Water Pollution Control Loan Program and authorizing the execution of the loan agreement with the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency for the Water Pollution Control Facility Digester Rehabilitation Project. First reading is waived. This will be Ordinance 2021-48. First motion. Mr. Maritato.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Ms. Schroeder, trustee Schroeder. Discussion. There's no discussion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Light,
Yes.
Trustee Meritato,
Yes.
Trustee Pojek,
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt,
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-48 is approved. Number 3, an ordinance to waive bid and accept the proposal of New Toys Layers Product Incorporation and authorizing the execution of a notice of award purchase order for the purchase of camera park site. Furnishing, first reading is waived. This will be ordinance 2021-49. First motion? Motion, Mary
So moved.
Schroeder first.
Second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Siddiqui. Discussion.
Discussion.
Yes.
Keith, what are we buying?
So these are for the purchase of the benches, the tables, and the trash receptacles out at the park.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Light.
Quick question, Keith. How many trash receptacles do we have going into that park area, the new area? Do you have a count on that?
I do at 7.
7? Okay, because I know there was question on trash receptacles recently. So, all right, thank you.
Any more? No? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Meritato,
Yes.
Trustee Pojek,
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt,
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui,
Yes.
Trustee Light.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-49 is approved. Number 4, an ordinance granting a conditional use to permit a restaurant with outdoor dining serving alcoholic beverage for consumption on the premises located at 729 East North Avenue in the village of Glendale Heights, Illinois, Schnetzel Flats, from the 5/20/2021 COV, Committee of Whole. First reading is waived. This will be ordinance 2021-50. Yes. Mr. Pojek, first.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Light. Discussion. No discussion. Roll call, vote, please.
Trustee Pojek?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Trustee Meritato?
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-50 is approved. Number 5, an ordinance to amend section 11-2-2 entitled Definitions of Chapter 2 entitled Rules and Definitions and section 11-3C-4 entitled Approval Procedure of Article C entitled Conditional Uses of Chapter 3 entitled Administration and Enforcement, and Section 11-4-6 entitled Accessory Uses and Structures of Chapter 4 entitled General Zoning Regulations, and Section 11-4-8 entitled Fences of Chapter 4 entitled General Zoning Regulations, and Section 11-5-7 entitled Off-Street Parking Regulations of Chapter 5 entitled Off-Street Parking and Loading, and Section 11-10B-2 entitled Permitted Uses of Article 5 entitled C-2 Community Commercial District of Chapter 10 entitled Commercial Districts, and Section 11-10-C-3 entitled Conditional Uses of Article C entitled C-3 General Commercial District of Chapter 10 entitled Commercial Districts, and Section 11-11C-3 entitled Conditional Uses of Article C entitled BP Business Park District of Chapter 11 entitled Office Businesses Park and Industrial Districts, and Section 11-11D-3 entitled Conditional Uses of Article D entitled I Light Industrial District of Chapter 11 entitled Offices, Business, Park, and Industrial Districts, and Section 11-11D-8 entitled Performance Standards of Article D entitled I Light Industrial District of the Municipal Code of Ordinance of the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois, from the 5/20/2021 COW. This is first reading. We now go back to public discussion of agenda items. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address this board on an agenda items? We have an executive session tonight, so I would entertain a motion to recess the village board meeting and go to the committee of the whole meeting. Motion. Mr. Smith, Trustee Smith.
I move that we recess the village board meeting and enter into the committee of the whole meeting.
Second.
Ms. Schroeder, second.
All right.
Roll call vote, please.
All right. Can we start?
We need a roll call.
Roll call.
The roll call.
You need a roll call vote before you can go into the committee.
All right.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Trustee Meritato?
Yes.
Trustee Pojek?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder.
Yes.
We are now recessed to the committee of the whole meeting. Trustee Schroeder, you have the committee of the whole.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to call this village board meeting back. Oh, you have first.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to call this committee of the whole meeting of Thursday, June the 3rd, 2021 to order. Will the clerk please note who is present?
Noted.
Are there any additions or deletions? Mike?
Parks,
Parks?
yes.
Chester?
Community gardens.
Anyone else? Oh, Pat.
Complaints.
Pardon?
Complaints.
Complaints? Is that it? Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address this board? Would you please state your full name and address for the record, sir?
Christopher Epstein, Club Drive, Glendale Heights, Illinois. The only thing I wanted to bring up is under the discussion regarding the Glendale Heights Fest, may I make a recommendation that maybe we have a food truck rally of some type instead of a full-blown festival? I think it would be a lot less problematic, especially with the situation that's going on, and there'll be less alcohol probably served during that as well. And then it'd be a good thing for the community, get a lot of these community businesses involved, bring out their foods, with the truck. I know College of DuPage had one a couple years ago. It was quite successful and the students and everything there. And I think it would be a good thing here to not only enhance our presence in the neighborhood, but also the businesses within the neighborhood for future use.
I think your suggestion is very good, and I think the village is looking into it. I think the mayor has talked to the police chief, and they're really working on it, but thank you for your concern. We'll continue with the committee recommendations. The ordinance committee, a recommendation to amend the animal control regulations to allow chickens. Is there a motion to move it to the board? There's no motion to move it to the board. Peter, is this when, where are you?
If there's no motion in the affirmative to move it to the board, it's currently, as I recall, it's prohibited, isn't it, Michael?
That's correct.
So if there's no motion to move it to the board, it dies right at the committee.
Guys, right there.
At the committee.
Do we take a roll call vote on it?
There's no motion. Somebody could move to leave the ordinance in the manner in which it's currently provided, which is to not permit the raising of chickens. You could take that action as a motion, which would give some clarity, I think, to the people who at least are waiting to hear. So if somebody wanted to make that motion, if that's the will of the board, I think that would make some sense.
Pat, help us out. Do you want to make a motion that we close the discussion and just take a roll call vote? Isn't that what you're asking?
I'm just suggesting you could make a motion to not take any action and not amend the ordinance and leave the ordinance prohibiting the raising of chickens as is. But if the board doesn't want to do that and doesn't want to take a motion, they can leave it as it is and the ordinance stands as is. And you can move to the next item.
All right. We have a recommendation to amend the animal control regulation to prohibit beekeeping. Bees, am I saying it correct? Bees keeping, okay? Is there a motion to move it to the board with a recommendation to concur? Well, that's another decision that we don't want to move to the board.
Well, maybe Mike wants to speak to this particular issue. think if you,
Certainly, currently, the aspect of beekeeping within the village code is silent on it. The recommendation of the ordinance committee was to prohibit the keeping of bees within the village of Glendale Heights. If the committee of the whole wanted to put that forward, that we would prohibit beekeeping within the village of Glendale Heights, we would bring back an ordinance to the board that would simply prohibit beekeeping in the village.
Yes, Mike.
I'll make a motion to prohibit the beekeeping. I know a few people I know are very allergic to it.
Does anyone second?
Excuse me, are you moving it to the board with a recommendation?
Concur, correct.
Okay.
the ordinance committee, right?
With the ordinance committee, sorry.
Do we have a second?
And it fails for a lack of a second, then you can move to the next item
To
on
the next
agenda.
item. All right, the next item will be discussing parking near mailboxes. And we're going to call on Chief Flynn for some information.
Thank you, Mary and Board. Last committee of the whole, we had conversation about parking within certain areas of, within 10, 12, 15 feet of mailboxes. And from that meeting, I said that the police department would conduct a study and look at other ordinances and also look at parking within the village and how that affects mailboxes and mail delivery. So the police department did a survey, and I've driven almost every street in town the last 2 days looking at mailboxes. One of my sergeants went and counted all kinds of mailboxes. But let me just, I'm trying to be brief because I know we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. But you can't talk about parking in Glendale Heights without talking about the density of the population of Glendale Heights. And our population density in Glendale Heights is about 6,000 people per square mile, which is roughly double that of most of our surrounding communities. And that parking density really, that density of population really creates parking issues, as you can imagine. And we have single-family residential areas mixed in with townhomes and quad home areas. And making one ordinance that would prohibit parking in certain parts of town, but not other parts of town, directly affects those living in the highly densely populated areas much more than it affects those living in the single-family, non-population density areas. So working with that, we have three different types of mailboxes in Glendale Heights, right? We have those that are attached to houses, which is generally in our older, original part of the community. We have mailboxes that are in the parkway, and then we have mailboxes that are community mailboxes. And we actually went and counted, we stopped counting at 212 community mailboxes. I'm sorry, 112 community mailboxes. So we have a very large percent of our population gets their mail through community mailboxes, right? When you look at the parking situation with mailboxes, we're really only talking about that span of time that the postal person is at the mailbox. You're talking a minute or two of a 24-hour day that parking is a problem in front of the mailbox. And that's only when mail isn't delivered there, right? So looking at that, trying to be brief. If you look at Stevenson Drive from Bloomingdale Road to Schmale Road is approximately a mile, 1.1 miles by Google. Average length of a car, 20 feet, F-150 truck, 20 feet long, average length of a car. If you look at that 5280, which is 5,280 feet, which is 1 mile, divide that by 20, you get 264. That's potentially, if we did a ordinance that said you can't park on 10 feet on either side of the mailbox, that's potentially 264 parking spots that wouldn't be able to be used on Stevenson. The actual number is about half that because most of our mailboxes and the parkway are next to the driveway, so one side of that's already eliminated because it's in front of the driveway. But even 120 parking spots eliminated down a major street like Stevenson or any other side street would be a great burden to the residents that need to park there for whatever that reason is, right? Especially now during COVID, people living at home, kids home from college for the summer. My driveway at home with my kids home from college is full, right? So looking at that, not trying to disparage those who live in the highly populated density areas versus those who don't, right? We have a conundrum of parking issues. Many of our streets that are in the highly populated density areas would not allow parking at all if we went with an ordinance that said you can't park within 10 feet on either side of a mailbox that's stuck into the parkway. There'd be many, many streets in our community that would just, no parking would be, there wouldn't be any parking. And those people living in that densely populated area would be, harmed more than those living in single family areas, right? So to kind of wrap this up, from our study and from looking and driving around and trying to find out what's the fairest way to allow the most people to get their mail, which is the community mailboxes, because that directly affects the most people, 15 to 20 per mailbox, right? And not disparaging those who live in the other areas of town. The most prudent thing for us to do to accommodate the most amount of people, but impact parking the least, especially in those areas that need parking the most, which are highly populated density areas, is to prohibit parking on 10 feet either side of the community mailboxes. Because generally speaking, when we go to a parking issue in a mailbox in a residential area, it's generally a neighbor, it's generally somebody who lives across the street or down the street, or there's somebody visiting, and us knocking on a door generally takes care of that issue for a period of time. So the recommendation from the police department after looking at this and trying to figure out what's the fairest thing for the community, to allow the people who need to park on the street the most ability to park on the street, and still allow those who need their mail delivered at the community mailbox, so you're affecting 15 to 20 people at every mailbox, right? And we have over 112 of them. Prohibiting parking on either side of that community mailbox would be the recommendation that I have tonight.
Yes, Pat.
I agree. I mean, that would help, me out by the golf course because they have their community mailboxes.
Yeah,
And I
they-
get calls because they block it.
So,
I mean, that would help me.
and really, on Golfview and Club Drive, there are 20 community mailboxes on the side of the road that's parking is permitted, and 24 mailboxes on the no parking side. So really, only 20 of these mailboxes are actually impacted, right? Wouldn't be that big of a burden to not park, and people down there would certainly appreciate getting their mail every day and not people parking in front of it.
Oh, definitely.
There's also, we might not think about it this way because you drive down Cardinal and Seams and it's a residential neighborhood. But there are 23 community mailboxes down in that part of the community as well. And we have others dispersed, Avalon, Whirlway, 12, Westfield Pines, 7, College Drive, 1. So there's community mailboxes spread throughout the community. So the recommendation that I have today is prohibiting parking on 10 feet of either side of the community mailbox.
Yeah, because the other way, I mean, I would have no parking
No,
in my area for 4 or 5 blocks, no parking on either side of the street.
You would not be able to park on your street absent the straightaways. You would not be parking on any of the side streets surrounding you.
Right.
Golden, Ringneck, any other street
English,
that's.
I mean,
Right.
I can,
All those streets that have mixed use with residential, single family, and then townhouses, right? We would directly disparage those who living in the townhouses much more than those living in the single family because of just proximity of mailbox to house.
good, thanks, Chief.
Chester.
Chief, the only problem with that is in the wintertime. On College, we have a cluster of mailboxes. When a snow plow goes through, it doesn't just go around. It just plows. Luckily, we have a neighbor that comes over there and makes a little path for the residents. Other than that,
You mean a path to the mailbox?
yeah, because the plow buries the mailboxes.
Well, that's a whole different issue.
I know it is. Luckily, we got a neighbor that
Well, look, you got somebody that can make a phone call, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to you, right?
You can have the village maybe make a pass for
Well,
them.
yeah, but I mean, that's a whole separate issue. And, maybe it's a homeowner association issue.
Well, like I say, that's the problem that we have with the cluster box.
Yeah,
Luckily, we only have one in our area.
but if we don't let them park on either side of it, right, and then hopefully there's more room to clear the snow and they have different places to put snow.
Well, that street is clear and there's no park on that side at all, but the plows just come and bury it. So
And it's
I just wanted to bring that up.
That's a whole different issue.
Yes, Ms. Trustee Mohammed.
Yes. So, Chief, what about those, like, people, who are suffering, who's not getting their mail? I understand, like, there is a highly denselated population area where you have problem, restricting those. But what about, like, maybe putting some sign? Because the problem is not with the residents, because the residents, they are parking their cars on their driveway. But it's mostly the visitors, the contractors who are, and they are parking their car. And because of that, especially I'm talking about in my neighborhood, people miss their mail for even like 2 or 3 days. Like constantly there is, as soon as the mail lady saw the car, even if it's not blocking the whole thing, it's like, it has like 2-3 feet, she doesn't deliver.
Yeah, so 2 issues, right? One, and I want to talk about the delivery of mail is way out of our, right, purview, and what they believe is reasonable is maybe not what we believe to be reasonable. And sometimes any excuse not to do something is an easy excuse not to do something, right? The other part is we have to just communicate to our contractors and other people that are at our house that, hey, don't park in front of the mailbox, right? And it's kind of behoven to us as homeowners to, if people are going to park in front of the mailbox for construction, or if it's, if somebody's having a big event that day, right, to just be better neighbors and to communicate to contractors and other people that, hey, you know what, mail's coming at noon, don't be parked in front of the mailbox at noon.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe, putting like we already have a sign, on the street signs already there, and maybe we can add something in there. So
So is it like you enter to the neighborhood?
yeah, so, something, so, people are aware of, because right now, people don't even know that this is a problem. And especially it's a problem for the person who is living in there, and he cannot just go outside and see, okay, this car parked, so the person parked the car and goes away. So it's like either he has to wait for him, and sometimes, people really don't know whose car is that, whose person. And then also the other thing is the mail arrives sometimes at 2 in my neighborhood, sometimes at 4, sometimes even at 6 at night they are delivering the mail. So it varies. So we really don't know. We cannot just tell that, oh, maybe it comes, the mail comes at around noon, so don't park your car. But something, some kind of, and I saw that, about the mail which we sent, that we are going to send something in that. But that really doesn't resolve the issue, because because as a residents, most of the people in my neighborhood, they are parking their cars on their driveway. It's not an issue. The only issue is this: when you see, because your mailbox is right there, and then you have your driveway. So sometimes the 2 cars, they just block your driveway, and then the other car is behind that.
Sure.
And that sometimes it's because it's, as you said, that, because of the parking. But every day there is either some guest or someone who comes, a cleaning lady has come, or a contractor. So if the mailbox is blocked.
So they need to call us so we can go talk to the person whose house it is.
Okay.
And just go, we'll run the license plate, we'll find out where the person lives or who they're
Okay.
visiting, and just go, hey, you know what, we got a complaint of the mailbox being blocked.
Okay.
We really prefer, we're asking you to be a good neighbor and find, there's plenty of places to park. You don't have to park right in front of this mailbox.
Okay.
And we'll do that, we do it every day.
Oh, okay.
right?
Because in the past, when my neighborhood calls, the police recommend that, oh, there is no ordinance for that, so, we can't really do anything. But
Yeah, well,
like
make sure that they tell them that we have said we're gonna go out there and talk.
Okay.
Because we do it every day. We
Okay.
don't, dispatch in Glendale Heights isn't on site, it's in Addison. right?
Okay.
So sometimes the dispatch center goes, well, it's not a crime, so we're not gonna send somebody out to it, right? But we respond to those calls.
Okay.
And we need to respond to those calls just so we can make contact with the resident and go, hey, this is an ongoing issue, we really need to resolve it, in some way, just to keep
Yeah,
it peace. And get
that's-
mail delivered.
Yes, that's what my intention is, like, at least if we send a message and if the people get aware of it, I think eventually this issue will resolve, because then people knows, or like, let's say a contractor or cleaning lady or anyone who comes over there, they found out that, okay, police, warn them that, hey, don't,
Right.
do this, then the next time they are, but right now it's nothing. So it's a non-emergency number, they can call and, okay.
Or if they want to go through you and you call me and I have somebody do it, that's fine too.
Okay. Thank
However it
you.
works.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Any more questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
One quick one. The 10-foot around the community mailboxes, the big ones, how would we enforce that? Just a sign?
Well, that's a great question, because we have potentially 60 or 70 of them. Signage probably is not cost effective and affordable. Putting signs in posts, right?
Post-it notes?
So, yeah, I would have to talk to Rachel and really look and see if there's other signage around there we can just put a sign on that's already there. Or we can look at striping the area off, either on the street or on the curb with paint. We could post this, I really haven't gotten that far yet, looking at costs, right? Because we have so many of them. Every time we put a post in the ground, we gotta call Julie, we gotta do digs, we gotta do all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So,
Stripes are cheap, I guess.
so that's the second part of this once we draft an ordinance.
Okay, I was just curious.
No one else? Thank you, Chief, for looking into it. I really appreciate that. The next thing we're going to
So
discuss.
what do we need?
You need a motion to direct the attorney to prepare the appropriate ordinance regarding the community mailboxes. And parking, no parking within 10 feet, as the chief described.
Do you want to make a motion, anyone?
Yeah, I want to make a motion to change the ordinance
Second.
to the parking, community mailboxes.
Second.
A roll call vote.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Trustee Meritato?
Yes.
Trustee Pojek?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
President Coker?
No, I'm,
Yeah,
Yes.
you vote in there.
yes.
This you vote.
All right, so we're
It's not
going to move that to the
tie
board.
vote, no?
Yeah, we'll prepare an ordinance prohibiting within 10 feet, parking within 10 feet of community mailbox.
All right.
And bring it back to the board.
So that will be brought to the board.
Yes.
Is that what you wanted, Mike? Doug, 10 feet?
Yeah, I have knowing and just listening to the stories that, you have 3 or 4 feet already of people parking, which you would think be enough room for a delivery truck to deliver mail, right? But obviously, it's not enough room sometimes, right? So I don't know what that number is at the post office, right? That if it's 5 feet, I don't know, 5 feet on each side, right? Maybe we can find that out and see what they recommend before we draft the
Sure,
ordinance. We
we
can
can-
reach out to them tomorrow.
They can cure the whole problem by making a walking route.
A lot of
I'm
things.
not going there. I already
there-
talked to him.
There's a lot of things
I
that the
already
postal
talked to him,
service could
and
do to make things better.
That's not gonna happen, so, but, they can cure that whole problem.
So we'll work
Easily.
with the chief to determine that distance. It sounds like it's gonna be 5 to 10 feet.
Yeah.
And we'll bring that back to the board, to the
But,
COW.
we want to make it so it's prohibitive, but not prohibitive to eliminate, 100 parking spots throughout the town.
Okay.
Are we all in agreement? All right?
Yeah, we already,
It's already gone.
We've already voted on it.
we already voted
Yes,
on it.
okay.
So,
Thank you. Can I continue, Pat?
yeah, go ahead. I'm just,
All right, thank you, Chief. I really
Welcome.
appreciate your efforts. The next thing we're going to talk about is Glendale Heights Fest, and Mike Maron's going to.
Yeah, thank you, trustee Schroeder. I'm going to start this off. 2 weeks ago at the Committee of the Whole, there was some discussion regarding the Glendale Heights Fest and what the event would look like this year, specifically with the pandemics kind of winding down, but not all the way wound down yet. Restrictions kind of still hanging out there, and also Glendale Heights Fest potentially being one of the first events that occurs unrestricted right after the pandemic. So staff was taking a look at that. I think we had mentioned, or the staff had mentioned last time that they were just about to meet on that the next day, which they did. They met with the Founders Day Committee, spoken with Mayor Coker, and there's been a number of recommendations. We want to brief the board on it. We're going to start with Chief Flint to discuss the concept of the public safety aspect from his aspect, and also from Chief Wood from the Fire District. And then Director Knauts has some options, which has a memo that was provided to you earlier this afternoon.
So, thank you, Mike. I'm not going to go into all the violence that's going on throughout the city of Chicago and Collier County and everywhere else. Everybody's, I think, aware of all the violence that's kind of going on right now in society. Glendale Heights isn't immune to violence. We're not immune to violence at Summerfest. We've had 2015 and 2018. We've had full-blown, all kinds of stuff going on at Summerfest. So everybody in the room is aware of stuff that's happened at Summerfest in years prior. Within Glendale Heights, in this year to date, violence is up. 2 weeks ago, over the weekend, we took 2 guns off cars, 2 guns off people out of cars. We had aggravated battery. We had aggravated assault with a firearm. We had a aggravated discharge of a firearm last weekend, 2 weekends ago. And what used to be fistfights now is not fistfights. We had a 12-year-old stab a 13-year-old last week, right? So the level of violence that's out there right now and the lawlessness, for lack of a better word, that's out there right now is kind of unprecedented in recent history, especially coming out of COVID. In town, just for kind of some metrics, we're on about the same amount of domestic violence. We track domestic violence calls every week. We're on about the same amount of domestic violence calls, year-to-date 2021, year-to-date 2020, but we've been on 35 more domestic violence calls than 2020 and 2021. So the calls we're going on are a little bit more violent. The level of stuff that is out there, Bloomingdale recently had a mass shooting. Last weekend there was 12 mass shootings throughout the country. Roselle had one in 2020. So I don't need to go in all that. We have a very serious concern this year that, based on everything going on in Chicago and in Collier counties and moving out, the level of lawlessness, the level of just lack of respect for adults, quite honestly, not just law enforcement, but just kind of adults in general. If you look at video and everything else throughout the country of attacks and that such, that having a large-scale festival in the environment we're in at this time in history currently, I think is potentially setting us up for failure and potentially setting us up for, an event that could be tragic. I don't have anything to back that up. I have no intelligence. It's just a gut feeling based on everything we're seeing on the street, everything that we're seeing throughout the country, everything we're seeing in Chicago. I wrote a memo to Mayor Coker May 24th. And in that memo, I said, Year-to-date in city of Chicago, there was 252 homicides and another, on top of that, 1,119 people shot. I looked it up before I came up here today, and homicides are up 20 from the May 24th till today, and 300 more people have been shot on top of that, right? So, I mean, just the level of violence that's out there is high. No town is immune to violence. Bloomingdale, Roselle, two of our neighboring communities both had serious mass shootings. Our violence in town, just from the calls we're going on, is up. It just doesn't seem like it's the right thing to do at this time in history to have a large-scale event, large-scale 5-day event where we have tens of thousands of people Friday, Saturday, Sunday standing in a large crowd without a lot of other things to do to minimize that, right? So we have, the police department is prepared to do whatever it is the board wants us to do. We'll make it as safe as we can make it. We have contingency plans in place. We have officers. We have some other things that we have planned for. We're planning for Fest. But there's a lot of concerns that we have from public safety. I know Chief Wood from Glenside Fire Department wrote a similar memo to mine, to Mayor Kokar, outlining his fears of violence and his ability to maintain and get to actually people in a very crowded way in today. So I'll leave it to Keith to talk to you about what some other plans might be, and we'll do whatever it is the board wants us to do as far as Fest goes. We'll make it as safe as we can make it with the resources that we have available, and the other planning that we have with your approval. But I just wanted to lay out there that violence right now is epidemic. Violence is all around us. And I think the complete lack of respect for authority right now, not just in policing, but throughout just society when it comes to just adults, is historic. So with that, I'll leave it to Keith.
I'd like to say something. I think you've done a lot of research on this, and I really would have enjoyed having the fest, but there's so much preparation that must be done before you can have such an affair. I mean, they would have had to work on this months ago, and the governor is just finally removing some of our restrictions. So no matter what we would do, we can never get this together in such a short period of time.
Well, thank you. We've been preparing just as if we would have a 5-day fest. So we're preparing for that. We have plans in place, right? We've changed nothing of how we prepare for Fest and any other year. What we don't know, to your point though, is when we go into Phase 5, what, if any, guidelines we're going to have when it comes to spacing, when it comes to social distancing, when it comes to how many people are allowed per 1,000 square foot. Right now it's 30. Right? We have no ability at our fest, the way it's set up, to count people coming in and out. Right? I suppose we could, but it would be very, very time-consuming, labor-intensive, and would only, quite honestly, create more congregating points for people outside of Fest, right? Which is where all of our issues happen. So we don't know what those limitations, if any, are going to be June 11th when we go to Phase 5. Right? He just reissued his declaration of emergency that goes past June. I mean, he can rescind it, but it goes past June 11th. So I don't know. That's all the unknowns that we don't know, which is hard to plan for when you don't know what to plan for.
Well, thank you for all your efforts and looking into as much as you have. We really
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Thank you.
Mike, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Director Knauts is going to address some of the options that the staff is brainstormed.
So as Mike has already mentioned, we have gone through a couple of different meetings, both with staff, with the Founders Day Committee, and additional side meetings, executive staff meetings to discuss Fest and the different options. In the memo that I I put out today, we list some of the other issues in addition to what Chief Flint has mentioned in regards to things that we don't know right now. And then I just put down a few of the ideas. Obviously, this is something that, and I'll just reaffirm what Chief Flint said. We're here to do whatever it is that you want us to put on, and we can do that. We have not stopped our preparation for Fest as it would be normally. But what we've done is we've kind of put a list together of different options that might be something that might be more palatable in the state that we're in right now. So obviously, we can have Fest as it was normally, and we can completely cancel Fest. Those are two that I laid out there. We did talk about some shorter events, 2 or 3 day events. One of the major conversations was limiting the hours of Fest and ending it early. In our conversations, we usually have our problems later at night, and by shutting down earlier, that might prevent some of the issues that we have. Another idea that was put out there is having a one-day event that is fireworks centric. Have a smaller stage, bring in a few of the bands that you've got that can play during the afternoon, maybe food trucks, maybe vendors, depending on what we can get in this short amount of time. And then either doing it on a Saturday or Sunday, have the fireworks. If you do it on a Saturday, it gives you a rain date of Sunday. If you do it on Sunday, it just means our rain date goes into a later time period. But quite honestly, any of the options that I just listed or any other options are certainly available. I think the number one thing, though, is that we really need to make a decision because we're at that point where we have to go in a direction. And that's really what we're hoping to get today is that direction that allows us to plan for whatever, if any, event that we're going to have.
Keith, could you also mention a couple of the unknowns that we are speculating on as we move forward towards Phase 5?
Yeah, some of them right now are the capacity limits that Chief Flint mentioned. Right now, it's 30 people per 1,000 square feet. I believe we did some analysis on that, and I'm going to throw out a number that I think is correct. Around 7,000 people is all that the area would allow us to hold. Currently, the carnival rules, they're at about a 60% capacity, and they are supposed to have 6 foot of social distancing, 6 foot between game stations, 6 foot between or impermeable barriers and ticketing areas, 6 foot spacing and seating areas, and they're supposed to avoid winding queues, which in areas that are larger aren't as big of a deal, but obviously in our site and the way that we have our set up, we talk about the fact that they get the most bang for their buck in that area, and that's one of the issues is they would have to lessen that. Also at this time, and I say at this time as of yesterday, DuPage County Health Department isn't issuing temporary food permits. So right now, vendors, that's an issue. They need to have county permitting to be able to run the event.
Mayor, you wanted to say something.
Yes, ma'am. What happened, I heard all that discussion. I talked with my chief police, Mr. Flint, and also with the fire chief, Mr. Wood, with my administrator, as well as I talked with, my trustees, all those members, And first, they were opposing, chief was opposing, and I was in favor of that, to have, fest, And for that, what I did, I put on my Facebook that should we have, and I asked my resident, and my resident, they respond about 242, it was like 3-4 days ago, 242, and except maybe two or three, all wanted to have Summerfest. And I was ready, I gave instruction to Keith, and the chief, and also my administrator, that go ahead, Meanwhile, from my internal sources, I found information that there are some groups, they are looking for opportunity to come and have kill, on mass level, That I do not want, and on that information, that is reliable information that came through some of my sources. And keeping on that ground, I am not going to have Summerfest, but we will have one day firework,
All right.
food, as well as music. So this is what I want to have. I believe my trustees, they have same opinion,
Very good.
yeah.
All right. Chester Pojek.
Thank you, Mayor, not Mayor, Mary. First of all, I'm very opposed to having a Summerfest this year. Let's just postpone it. There's too many, and I mean too many ifs. And to have it 2 or 3 days, that's totally out of the question. You're gonna be mobbed and mobbed and mobbed. You know what happens with our Summerfest? It's terrible. The police have their hands full. The fire department has their hands full. Even the vendors, they can't. How are we gonna control the mobs in there, the crowds? I don't see any solution to have it this year, period. Everyone else around us, the surrounding communities, are canceling all their large events, but old Glendale Heights, some of them want to have it. That's wrong. That's all I got to say right now.
Pat, you have something to say?
Yes, Mary. Keith, what is the difference between 5 days and 3 days? You're still gonna get the same kind of people, the same crowd. And go ahead.
Quite honestly, these are just suggestions that came out.
Yeah, I know.
You're
but-
not wrong.
but
You know what? For us to get the stage and all those different things in, and to do that, I'm not sure if it's cost prohibitive or not. I can't answer that.
Well, even the vendors, I mean, how can you get vendors for a couple of days? It takes those people 2 days to set up. Plus, they gotta get the permits. The Board of Health is not even giving anything out yet.
You're correct. If in phase 5 that changes, that would change everything. I will tell you that vendors, we would have to make adjustments. As we've talked about having contingencies, we've thought about different things that we would have to do in regards to what we charge. All that would have to be looked at.
And one day, when we have the carnival, that pays for a lot of our stuff. The bands, the carnival pays, what we collect from the carnival, that's how we make our money. A one-day deal, you know how much it's gonna cost us? Did you pull up the figure, Mike, how much it'll cost for a one-day deal?
We estimate it'd be about $55,000 if we include the fireworks in that.
Yeah, 55,000 for one day, 8 hours, maybe 9.
Don't make sense.
That's taxpayers' money, 55,000. That's gotta come out of our pocket, because we have no carnival to pay for it. It's not for me, but I don't know how anybody else feels.
We're just voicing opinions as far, we're probably not going to have it. We're just voicing opinions,
Well,
Pat.
I understand.
That's, what the board
but
is doing.
I'm just explaining what it's gonna
Yes.
cost for a one-day event.
Exactly.
It don't pay. I say just cancel the whole thing and wait till next year. I don't know. See what everybody else feels.
Bill, what do you want to say?
We have the two people that are most responsible for the public safety against it, the police chief and the fire chief. I can understand the concerns. I was down at Fullerton and Montana a couple of years ago when the gangs came through. I was directing traffic, and I can tell you it was scary times. I can see that type of incident happening, whether it's a 5-day, a 1-day, or, an abbreviated time. There are people out there that are out there to cause trouble, cause other people to not have a good time. I would tend to say, as much as I would like to go and have a good time, I'd err on the side of caution and say no.
Exactly. The safety of our people are more important than how much fun we can have. And that's what the chief is saying. And as you just said, even the fire department is not all for it too. Mike, you haven't said anything. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I am deeply concerned for everybody. I mean, my family is such, even going to the fest, and my son a firefighter also. I really would like to see it happen, but I don't want harm to come to anybody. And just the amount of money that it would cost to do a one-day event, I mean, food trucks and missing revenue and it possibly costing us more money than it's worth, you know, and if even one person got hurt, it would really not be a good event for me. So I'm concerned with it. I don't think it's a good idea.
All right,
Really don't.
Mohammed, what about you? Would you like to, I'm just trying to give
Yeah,
everybody
sure.
a few
Yeah,
minutes.
just my 2 cents is, like, I am all in favor of the fest, but after hearing the chief, and as mayor said that his internal sources, so safety first. But on the other hand, like, um, Mike, like when we had 5 days fest, how much money we were spending at that time? Like, let's say just a ballpark.
So the Founder's Day fund is built off of the idea that we have revenue from the carnival.
Okay,
So we receive revenue from the carnival, and that funds the majority of the expenses of Fest.
okay.
So that funds the fireworks, that funds the bands that we have there, and that's how we're able to pay for most of what we have.
Oh, okay, so basically, so let's say if like those 5 days, if after deducting, what we make from how much city basically put from his part, or we don't put anything from our money to the fest for those 5 days?
Money from the city goes towards the personnel costs of setting up, tearing down, maintenance.
And which is roughly how much?
I'm going to look to Bill for that, because I don't want to give you
And
a
just,
number
yeah,
that's.
just a ballpark, because I just want to compare, because 55,000, that's quite a bit money, just for one day. And that's my other concern is that safety first, but on the other hand, we are not making any money. And then if we want to have it just for one day, but who knows, like, as Chief said, that people, like those troublemakers, how we are sure that they are not going to come on the one day fest versus the 5 day? I mean, like, do we have any kind of assurity from them that they are not going to be showing up at one day fest?
Certainly, there's no surety of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chief, I want to ask you, what's your thought about one day? Is it, you think that's something?
Cost prohibited.
I'm just gonna defer to the board. We could make a safe one-day event with contingencies. The board would have to approve some things to really make it safe, not just in case of something, but more because you're gonna have 30,000 people in one place, and we need to make things safe for pedestrians, right, and vehicle traffic. And if there's things, typically on a Sunday night of fireworks, we shut down Fullerton Avenue at 7 o'clock at night, and there's no vehicle traffic, right? So, one of the biggest fears is vehicles and pedestrians. So shutting that down would make things better if we had a fireworks. There's contingencies that we have in place to make things safer, and we've been planning for this event for months, right? So we have things built up to plan for. But I would defer to the board as to, I'm gonna do whatever it is you ask me to do.
Oh, okay.
And it
So
it really
basically,
should
you're
be.
saying that one day you can handle, but our main concern is now the money, because, in 5 day, as Mike said, that we make money from the carnival, and that's paid for it. But in this one, in one day, basically, the city will be spending
That's
its
correct.
money.
Without the carnival, there will be no
Oh,
revenue
revenue,
to
okay.
cover any of the expenses.
Yes, so that's a big concern, yeah.
Bill, you want to say something?
Yeah, talking about a shortened fest even, what is the possibility of finding vendors and carnival people that would be willing to come in and do a 2-day, 3-day type of thing when you're talking about a day or two of setup, a day or two of tear down. Right now, that's overhead that is paid for by 5 days worth of sales. And getting somebody to come in short-term on that, I think that would be very difficult.
Well, I think in a one-day festival, you would not be, there would be no carnival. If you had a 2 or 3-day event, I'm sure that the carnival, if they were to come in, would want to make some adjustments to how they do their ticket prices. Right now, in our 5-day event, we have wristbands, a good portion of the event, and that works very well for our residents. I think because of exactly what you're talking about, Trustee Schmidt, you would see wristbands be non-existent, and it would be pay per ticket, which can be expensive for the residents.
Mary?
Oh, yes, Chester.
Hey, Chief, do you know if DuPage's canceled their fest?
The county fair has been canceled.
Oh, it has been canceled. And that's
Canceled, yeah, last month, I think.
okay. Well, that answers my question.
Pat, what do you want to say?
I just want to say, my point of view is that the safety, I mean, even one day is not going to be good.
No.
In fact, that one day is going to cost us money. I would just say, you know what, scratch it for this year, and hopefully next year, this pandemic will never come back again, tap on wood, and we can get back on track.
It sounds like the consensus of the board is not to have Summerfest. So I don't think go on, Mayor, I apologize.
You know, everybody is talking on one issue, safety, and that is big concern, you know. But we are representative of the people. We have to respect opinion and their wishes, you know. 242 people have responded, and everybody wants to have fest, you know. So if we do not have fest, at least we can give them something like firework, you know. Our police officer chief, you know, he said that in one day they can arrange, you know. So one day is better than 5 days, and risk is minimized, you know. They can hold. I am in favor of that, you know. If all those, you know, members are against, I am in favor to have at least one day, you know. People they want to come out from their houses, they want to bring their children. They are like prisoner, you know. They have no schools, you know, some people are sitting home. They want some time, you know, for socializing, you know. And I respect opinion of my residents. And I am, yes, at least one day.
May I say something first, Chester?
Go ahead.
Do you know what, am I imagining this, or remember one time we had rain and we couldn't have fireworks, and maybe a week or two later, we had fireworks one Sunday, and it really was only Glendale Heights people because we didn't advertise it, and I think we had just one person selling sandwiches or something, and that was a really nice one-day affair. It wasn't something where we had millions, you know, hundreds of people coming. It was, you could see, you know, if you looked around, that they were really our residents. They were sitting on blankets, and it was just a small little thing. It wasn't a big thing. But
2019.
that was a one-day affair, and that was,
It was a Wednesday
2019, we
night.
had it on a Monday night, the Monday night following
Or Wednesday night.
the Sunday fireworks. It was supposed to be, got rained out. We had it the following night.
yeah, Chester, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Coker, you mentioned our population is 33,000 residents in the village of Glendale Heights. Where did you get your 242 people that wanted it?
34,000.
How many?
34,208. Those people, I have my account on Facebook, and that group, there is like a neighborhood of, you know, Glendale Heights, Carroll Stream, Bloomingdale, that people are from that group, you know. So I believe they are like similar total number, So they have responded, and they all
Who did they respond to?
on my Facebook account. And that group is like of Glendale Heights mostly, some Carroll Stream, some Bloomingdale. So they said, yes, we want that, And I am in favor. I mean, all those people, you can say, no, that's fine. I will accept that. But my decision is, I am going to respect opinion and wishes and emotions of my people, They want to have, and I am in favor of that, having at least one day, If not 7 days or 5 days, at least one day. I mean, it's up to you. You are a board member. You are an elected person, So talk with your residents if they want or not.
I've talked to my residents, they don't want it this year. Many of them do. Safety is number one.
Do you have like some account, on social?
Do I have what?
Like Facebook account, something
No,
like that?
I'm not on Facebook. I talk to residents.
Oh, so you talk.
I don't believe in Facebook.
Okay,
I talk to my residents personally.
okay. Facebook, I am using Facebook, and people like that, as I mentioned, 242, could be more now, because it was like 3-4 days ago, and 242 at that time. And maybe except 1 or 2, they said we should not have. Everybody said, yes, we should have, They want to see their, friends, coming from, to meet and socialize, bring their children outside, having some, for fear, we should not be closing our people all the time, 24 hour and 365 at their home, We should respect their wishes, their, what they want.
All right, I just want to say this because this can go on all night. The three of you want to say something, just make it fast and we're not going anywhere. All right, Bill, we're going to start with you.
The only thing I would say is the 300 and some people that are on your Facebook are not responsible for the safety and the well-being of the thousands of people that could be attending this event. And it's easy to say something that, oh, sure, let's go ahead and do it, when you've got no responsibility. You don't have to, there's no pay, there's no responsibility for the safety. So I'm sorry, I disagree with you.
No, it's your opinion, We respect, opinion of everybody,
Mohammed, you're next.
Yeah, so as Mayor Coker said, Mike, if it's going to be only fireworks, how much money we are looking?
The fireworks contract right now is for $35,000 in fireworks.
Okay, all right.
And then if we have additional bands for Saturday night, and I'm going to look to Keith because I know he has these hard numbers for me.
I do. For the bands and to have a stage and to have the bands that are already booked, it's about $12,000.
Okay, so 35 plus 12 for the night event, just like maybe 8 till 11 or
No,
something?
that would be longer than that because there's 2 bands that are involved in
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
correct?
We
That
have
does not count personnel costs.
Okay,
That is just hard costs.
just, okay, so if we eliminate band just for the fireworks, it's 32, correct?
35.
35, okay, all right. I'm just looking at from the money perspective, like, even though that how much is it for, like, how much we can spend, because before that, we were not spending, basically, we were making from the carnival and then spending on, and so basically we are, okay, all right.
All
That's,
right, Mike, you're next.
He kind of wrapped it up for me. I was just looking at, if anything, maybe a Sunday night fireworks show, and that would be it. Just an event, give someone at least something to look forward to. I know how much they appreciated the fireworks that we did for Christmas, and they really liked that. Got a lot of kudos from residents on that. It didn't involve going to some place, and it didn't involve other people coming out for it, but it was something that was simple.
All right, 2 minutes, Pat, let's go.
Yes, I hate to disagree with you, Mike.
No, you got a
But
lot
I
of
mean,
complaints?
even a one night,
Yeah.
you're gonna get 500 people, 600 people.
Yeah,
You still, you need the police department, you still need help. I mean, it's still gonna cost us,
it's true.
it's still not cost us the same, because even on a one night, trying to get a band for one night,
No,
We're
not-
trying to get vendors. I mean, it's,
Yeah, not talking
I mean,
bands.
it's not
talking-
possible.
Not
So, I
talking
mean,
bands,
that's
not
why I
talking
say,
any
you
of
know,
that.
just, you know,
Get it?
can it until next year and go from there.
Okay. It is expensive,
Yeah, it is. I mean,
especially with the COVID. You know, our businesses are down, everything is down, budgets are being cut. You know,
All right,
just-
let's get direction from the board. Do we just want to continue this, or do we want to, we're just not, you know, everybody has an opinion, so opinions are like noses, we all have one. So let's
that would
start
Chester.
with, just yes or no. Are you're not interested, or you are?
No, I'm not interested. Next year's fine.
Pat,
No.
Marie, you, sitting there so nice, you have an opinion.
I do have an opinion. I agree that it is a lot of work, and having been at Fest for so many years, everybody is really stretched. And the only comment I have is if you have one night, like a Sunday night with bands and fireworks, you're still going to get large crowds.
All right.
And it does not mitigate the security problems.
Very good. Mayor, you,
I will say yes, we should respect opinion of residents.
242 residents.
I have,
Mr. Storino?
I have no opinion.
You have no
No,
opinion?
no, no, no.
Opinion.
Oh, you just prove you're a lawyer, okay.
No, this is within the
You're-
province of the board.
You're a true lawyer.
I don't have an
All right. Mike, what do you want to say, Mike? Yes or no?
For the safety of everyone, no.
All right, and Mohammed?
Yeah, I love to, but right now, under these circumstances, I would say no.
All right, and Bill? No. All right. And I didn't mean to be rude to you, but it's just that we
Yeah,
could go on all night long
Right,
on this
right.
same subject, and we're not going anywhere.
Right.
Yes, Mr. Storino?
No, I was just, wow, you've done a great job, Mary. I do want to tell you, you knew I was going to say something. I don't know how. So I think that what the board has said, at least 6 members of the board have said, is that the staff, the lawyers should proceed to do whatever it is necessary to terminate those contracts that we have for the fest this year. And if I understand that correctly, that's what we'll do. We'll proceed to terminate those contracts. Is that okay? Yep. That, that's the direction, kind of saying it to Mike.
Thank you.
At the same time, Keith, Peter, we'll work to get these things done with our vendors and our contractors. Okay, thanks, Mary.
Mayor, you're going to have the last word. Is that all right with you?
No, that's fine, you know.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
All right.
well, I'm fine, you know.
If there's nothing else, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Do you want,
Another item.
we have one more item?
Few more.
Three
2
items.
more. Maybe 3.
Oh, I forgot about your additions. Oh, please forgive me. All right. We gotta, all right. Parks,
That was me.
okay.
Okay. God, I don't know where to start here. Keith, I wanted to say thanks for Almond Park. I went out there. It was kind of nice. I saw people playing tennis. I saw people playing soccer, basketball. I had everything going really well out there. I sat there and everybody was having a really good time. Swings would be nice eventually. I would like to look for the swings. That would be a nice way to go. And that's on the high side of it. The other side of it was I had the study that I had done. I asked for 6 months worth of information on maintenance for all the vehicles and all the park stuff. The questions I had, there were several of them. For the most part, Parks is a very hard-working department. They're always moving. I gotta say, Sam down there at the Fleet Department, phenomenal job at fabricating stuff that Parks needs. But I had questions on stuff, you know, that I've got a lot of the Kubotas seem to be overutilized. They're bent plow brackets, a lot of that. I saw a lot of bent plow brackets, broken lights and stuff like that. Large mowers, the heavier motors, the Enmark mowers, one of them was getting scalping wheels and blades replaced, like, within 3 months. It was probably replaced, oh, I don't know, I think I found it 4 times. And I was kind of concerned if the mowers were being properly used by somebody who's trained, or are they just knocking the hell out of these things for, just trying to get something done fast. I actually saw 3 steering wheels on trucks that needed to be replaced. I'm not too sure why steering wheels have to be replaced, but that was just kind of one of my concerning things, if they were just destroyed. I mean, I work on cars. I only replace them after they've been in terrible accidents. I had a list of things I could go on for, hours, but I won't do that. If we could just maybe talk about it later further with some of the info. And then I wanted to get, if possible, the daily log sheet for parks times, maybe for like, for the last 2 months, as far as the daily log sheets for cutting grass. Because I kind of like to know how long it takes to cut each grass. And what's available for that information. This way I like to look at that and see what we can get done. I still want to GPS everything, I really do. I would just like to see that. And that was it. We'll talk later on the rest of the heavy stuff, but kudos on Ullman, it seems to be working. It's really been happy for me.
Okay, and we'll set up a time we can sit down and go through some of those issues and make sure that we have them addressed.
Perfect.
All right, next is Chester with Community Garden.
This is for Keith. Keith, last meeting, you said you were gonna get back to us, especially to Mike also. Never heard a word.
I sent that out in the weekly that I sent out.
Yes.
And it was included in that weekly.
I never got anything. That's why I'm bringing it up
I
tonight.
apologize if I missed your name on there. That is possible. I'll go back and look. But I did send out a copy of the plan to everybody as a part of my weekly.
What was the content of the letter?
I think it said my PRF update.
See, I never got anything.
I will make sure if you didn't get it, I'll forward it to you right now.
All right. Because I was over at Bloomingdale at their community garden, and I have pictures over there. It's really nice. They have a nice setup. They have water, benches, everything.
The plan that I forwarded has a number of those different items in there. It's a conceptual plan. The school district is continuing to work on putting actual plans together. And then obviously one of the things we'll have to look for is funding.
So bottom line, nothing's going to happen this year.
Nothing's going to happen this year. It will be ready for next year.
All right, send me that information. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I have to say this, only because I know so many people in Bloomingdale. If they have a nice garden, that's the only thing they have better than us. And now it's Pat.
Are you done?
Complaints. What do you want to talk about?
No. Joanne, this is for you. I talked to that resident the other day, the one that you gave me that complaint,
Yes.
and she had nothing bad to say about that department at all. She said the inspectors were great. She just wanted to talk to me to try to speed up the process. Now, I'm not gonna hold you to this, because what I said 2 weeks ago is starting from 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But she told me this was a problem going on for a year, and I never knew anything about it until yesterday.
I appreciate that, and I think Mike Marin sent out the email that we are trying to figure out a way to let you know. The finance department is trying to assist in creating a report from the computer system. We just don't have that capability right now. But in lieu of that, while we're trying to figure out the mechanics, we're doubling up on our efforts to try to let the village board know. We don't usually know which issues are going to rise, and that is one that we've issued multiple citations,
Right.
issued multiple violation notices. So we're trying to hone in on those. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect system until hopefully we can get the computer to generate things. But so we'll
Good, thank
do
you.
the best we can.
Thank you, because she did say you guys did a great job down there, so, because I asked her, I said, well, what's going, and she told me you've been great.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, Pat, we want you to be happy. You got your answer?
Yes, I did.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I need a roll call? This meeting is adjourned.
I would like to call this board meeting back to order. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting to executive session to discuss? Number one, pending litigation and probable or imminent litigation pursuant to Open Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/2, to collective negotiation measures between the public body and its employees or their representative or deliberations concerning salaries schedules for one or more class of employees pursuant to Open Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/2 C2. Roll call vote.
We need a motion first.
Motion. Mr. Light,
So moved.
Second.
second, trustee Maritato. A roll call vote.
Trustee Schroeder? Executive session. Trustee Schroeder?
Oh, yes.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Siddiqui?
Yes.
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Trustee Meritato?
Yes.
Trustee Pojek?
Yes.
Please note that the next village board meeting will be on June 24 as posted in the village calendar. This meeting is adjourned to executive session.